Some schools are known for football games, homecoming dances, and late-night study sessions. Others are known for something far darker. Across America, there are campuses where footsteps echo long after the halls should be empty, where classroom lights flicker even when the power is off, and where students whisper about shadows that move on their own. These are places where history never left, where tragedy clings to the walls, and where the living and the dead walk the same corridors. From abandoned state institutions filled with restless spirits, to elite universities where former students still wander decades after dying, these schools carry secrets administrators will never print in a brochure. Every year, new students arrive with hope and excitement, only to discover that they are not alone in their dorm rooms, not alone in the library, and not alone as they cross the campus at night. Some leave with unforgettable stories. Others leave and refuse to speak about what they saw. So lock your door, turn on your hallway light, and get ready to explore the top 15 scariest haunted schools in America, where the lessons are terrifying, the spirits are real, and the encounters stay with you long after graduation. Haunted School Number 1. Pennhurst State School, Spring City, Pennsylvania. Pennhurst State School is one of the darkest and most terrifying places in the history of American institutions. Long abandoned and swallowed by vines and decay, the massive campus still stands like a wounded giant, holding every scream, every secret, and every restless spirit trapped within its crumbling walls. This place was never a school in the warm and hopeful sense of the word. Instead, it was a facility that opened in 1908 as an institution for the mentally disabled. What happened inside, however, was far more horrific than anything the public was allowed to know at the time. Pennhurst was overcrowded almost from the moment it opened. Children and adults were poured into the buildings with no care for dignity or humanity. Abuse, neglect, and mistreatment became the normal rhythm of life here. It was a place of suffering, and suffering leaves an imprint. When Pennhurst finally shut down in 1987 after shocking reports exposed years of cruelty, the residents left, but something stayed behind. Something angry, something broken, something that never forgot. Walking into Pennhurst today is like stepping into a nightmare you cannot wake from. The long hallways stretch endlessly into darkness. The air is thick, heavy, and stale, and the peeling paint curls from the walls like dead skin. In the quiet, you can hear the building breathing around you, shifting and groaning, as if the memories inside press against the walls trying to escape. Paranormal investigators call Pennhurst one of the most violently haunted places in America. Many enter expecting simple cold spots or faint voices, but what they encounter shocks even the most experienced hunters. As soon as people walk through the broken doors, they feel watched, not by one spirit, but by dozens. Some feel a pressure on their shoulders or arms, as if small hands are tugging at them. Others hear whispers behind them, soft and childlike, calling for help or sobbing in the dark. The most terrifying experiences happen in the underground tunnels that connect the buildings. These tunnels were once used to move patients discreetly between wards, sometimes for punishments, sometimes for things far worse. Today, they are pitch black and silent, except for the echo of your own heartbeat. Many visitors report hearing footsteps behind them, even when no one else is in the tunnel. Some feel a sudden icy breath on their neck. Others see shadows running at full speed, vanishing just before impact. One man reported hearing a metal cart being pushed down the tunnel, its wheels squeaking violently. But when he shined his flashlight, the corridor was empty. Another visitor was scratched across the back, so deeply that the marks bled. He insisted that he had been alone when it happened, and he left the grounds shaking and pale. This reaction is common at Penhurst. People come out trembling, drained, and disoriented, as though something from the institution reached inside them and tried to pull them in. The Mayflower Building is one of the most active locations. Doors slam shut on their own. Shadows move along the walls even when no light source is present. In one room, investigators captured the voice of a young boy saying, "Why did you leave me?" over and over again. The voice was filled with pain and confusion, as if he truly believed he had been abandoned. Others report hearing giggling that quickly turns into screams. Perhaps the most chilling encounters come from the Quaker Building. This was where the most severe punishment and isolation happened. People describe hearing deep growls, loud bangs, and angry voices that seem to come from inside the walls. Some have even seen full apparitions, pale figures standing in the doorways, watching silently before dissolving into mist. Penhurst is not a place that simply remembers pain. It radiates it. Every hallway tells a story of fear. Every room feels like someone is still trapped inside. The spirits here do not behave like gentle echoes of the past. They interact. They respond. They make themselves known in ways that leave visitors shaken for days. Many believe that the suffering of the former residents created a stain on the land, a kind of emotional scar that will never heal. Others think the spirits remain because they never experienced love, comfort, or dignity in life, and now they cling to anyone who steps inside. Some even say that the darkness in Penhurst is not human at all, but something born from years of agony and fear, something that grew stronger with every cry and continues to feed on anyone brave enough to enter. Whatever the truth is, Penhurst State School stands as a grim reminder of a cruel history and a chilling example of what happens when torment lingers long after life ends. It is a place where shadows walk, where voices whisper, and where the past wraps itself around the present. For many, a visit to Penhurst is more than a paranormal investigation. It is an encounter with pure, unfiltered despair that still roams the halls, searching for someone to listen. Number 2. Waverly Hills Sanatorium Schoolrooms, Louisville, Kentucky. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is already known as one of the most haunted buildings in the United States, but the school rooms inside the massive structure hold a particularly chilling energy. This was where young patients, many of them suffering from advanced tuberculosis, once gathered to learn, play, and try to hold on to some sense of normal life. But within those walls, childhood innocence collided with sickness, suffering, and death in a way that left an unmistakable imprint. Today, the schoolrooms are among the most disturbing and emotionally heavy areas in all of Waverly, and countless visitors claim they are still filled with the restless spirits of the children who never got to leave. Waverly Hills opened in 1910, during a time when tuberculosis was ravaging the entire region. Patients were brought here with hope, but most never returned home. The sanatorium eventually became so overcrowded that the death rate climbed dramatically. Staff had to carry bodies down the infamous death tunnel so that living patients would not see the constant removal of the dead. In the middle of this tragedy were the children, many of whom lived in Waverly, not because they were sick, but because their parents or siblings were. They had nowhere else to go, so the schoolrooms were created to give them a place to learn. But learning in a building filled with suffering and death creates an atmosphere unlike any normal classroom. Teachers tried to maintain routines, reading lessons, chalkboards, and little desks arranged neatly. But outside the windows, the fog hung thick, the smell of medicine drifted in, and distant coughing echoed constantly. Over time, the schoolrooms became a place where the boundary between life and death blurred. Children drew pictures while hearing stretchers roll down the hall. They practiced spelling as quarantine doors slammed shut. The air was heavy with fear, but their spirits, lively and hopeful, tried to push back against the gloom. That tension, that mixture of innocence and tragedy, remains inside those rooms to this day. Visitors who step into the schoolrooms describe a sudden shift in the atmosphere, as if they have walked into a memory still playing on repeat. The temperature drops sharply. The air feels thick. Many people feel sadness wash over them so intensely that they begin to cry without understanding why. The schoolrooms hold the emotional weight of dozens of young lives cut short, and their presence is impossible to ignore. One of the most frequently seen spirits is that of a small girl often referred to as Mary. She appears near the chalkboards, sometimes standing quietly, sometimes skipping across the room, as if playing a game. Witnesses say she has long dark hair and wears a faded dress. She never speaks, but many people say they feel her tug gently on their clothes or hear the faint sound of her humming. Some investigators have captured tiny handprints appearing suddenly on dusty desks, even though no children were present. Another well-known spirit is that of a little boy who loves to bounce a ball. His presence is unmistakable. Guests often hear the rhythmic thump of a ball hitting the wooden floor and rolling across the room. When they follow the sound, the room is always empty. Some have even seen the ball roll toward them on its own, as if someone invisible is pushing it along. This spirit seems playful, but lonely, drawn to anyone who enters. Many believe he is searching for someone to play with, just as he did when he was alive. The schoolrooms also have reports of full-bodied shadow figures. Some appear tall, perhaps staff members, but others are small, darting across the room as if the children are still running and playing. Shadowy shapes peek around doorways. Chairs scrape across the floor with no one touching them. Lights flicker, even though there is no power in the building. The sounds of giggles, footsteps, and even singing have been captured on recorders. But just as often, visitors claim to hear something far darker. Whispers that do not sound like children. Deep breaths taken right behind their neck. The sense that something older, something not human, watches from the corners. Because Waverly Hills has so much pain embedded within its walls, some investigators believe that not all spirits here are childlike or harmless. The schoolrooms may be a gathering place of innocent energies, but they are still located inside one of the most haunted buildings in the country. People often report feeling suddenly dizzy or weak. Some feel their chests tighten, as if the air is being sucked out of the room. Others say they hear their name whispered, even when they are alone. One of the most disturbing encounters involved a woman who visited during a nighttime investigation. As she walked through the schoolroom doorway, she saw what looked like a group of children sitting at their desks. Their heads were down, as if writing. Thinking this was a trick of her mind, she blinked, but they remained, faint, but visible. When one of them lifted his head, she said his eyes were hollow. The entire group vanished a second later, leaving her shaking so badly she had to be escorted out. Another visitor was touched on the hand by what felt like a small, cold grip. When she looked down, she saw nothing, but the sensation lingered long after she left the building. Many people who visit the schoolrooms report feeling physically drained for hours or even days afterward, as though the building siphoned something from them. The schoolrooms of Waverly Hills Sanatorium are some of the most emotionally charged spaces in any haunted location in the United States. They hold the laughter of children who were desperate to feel normal, the fear of young souls trapped in a place of sickness, and the heavy silence of lives that ended too soon. Even now, long after the lessons stopped and the chalk turned to dust, their presence lingers, reaching out to anyone who walks through those doors. And for many who visit, leaving the schoolrooms does not mean leaving the spirits behind. The memory stays with them. The sadness follows. The echoes of tiny footsteps remain in their minds long after they return to the living world. Number 3. The University of Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana. The University of Notre Dame is known across America for its prestige, history, and timeless beauty. But beneath the shining golden dome, the peaceful quads, and the grand old halls, there is a darker side that most students learn about only after they have spent a few nights on campus. For generations, Notre Dame has been whispered about as one of the most haunted universities in the Midwest. Some of its ghosts are tied to tragedies. Others are connected to legends so old that no one remembers where the stories began. And some spirits seem to wander without reason, appearing suddenly in quiet corridors and disappearing just as quickly, leaving behind a chill that no heater can warm. The haunting at Notre Dame begins with its roots. The campus is nearly 2 centuries old. Founded in 1842, it has seen fires, illnesses, student deaths, and countless unexplained events that have woven themselves into the fabric of the university. Many of the buildings were constructed on land that once belonged to Native American tribes. Some believe this history is responsible for the uneasy feeling many people get when they walk the grounds at night. The stillness of the lakes, the way the trees sway even when there is no wind, and the sound of footsteps echoing behind you long after the path appears empty, all contribute to the eerie atmosphere. One of the most famous hauntings at Notre Dame involves Washington Hall. Students and staff report seeing the ghost of George Gipp, the legendary football player whose tragic death in 1920 left the school in mourning. People claim that Gipp still roams the halls late at night, often appearing as a tall figure wearing a cloak or long coat. Some say they hear footsteps running down the hallway in the middle of the night. Others hear knocking on their doors, but when they open them, the hallway is empty. Chairs move on their own. Doors open and close without any draft. On rare occasions, students sleeping in Washington Hall have awakened to find a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed, staring silently before fading away. The main stage inside the building is also known for strange activity. Equipment malfunctions without explanation. Lights flicker violently. A cold presence moves across the room even when the air outside is warm. Performers claim to hear someone breathing behind the curtain or pacing backstage, but no one is there. Some even feel a hand brush against their arm while rehearsing. They look around, expecting to find a fellow cast member, but the stage is empty. These encounters are so common that many students accept them as normal. But new visitors often leave shaken. The energy inside Washington Hall is heavy, as though the past is always watching. Another notorious location is the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. During the quiet hours, when the crowds disappear and only the faintest echoes remain, some people see the figure of a priest moving slowly down the aisle. He never speaks. He never looks at anyone. He simply walks until he vanishes near the altar. Some believe he is a former priest who died unexpectedly on campus. Others say he was never human at all. Visitors also report hearing whispers in the confessionals, even when the doors are locked. The sound is faint, almost like a prayer or a plea for help. But the moment you try to listen more closely, the whispering stops. The dormitories at Notre Dame also have their share of paranormal encounters. Sorin Hall is famously haunted by Father Sorin himself. Residents claim that his spirit still checks on the building he founded, especially during storms. They see a tall man in old-fashioned clothing walking through the corridors. Sometimes he appears in doorways, only to vanish when someone blinks. Students describe hearing footsteps pacing back and forth on the upper floors, even though no one is there. Doors slam in the middle of the night. The lights flicker. Some residents wake up to the sound of someone praying right beside their bed. When they turn to look, the room is empty. Then there is the unsettling mystery of the lakes. Notre Dame has two quiet bodies of water, St. Mary's Lake and St. Joseph's Lake. During the day, the lakes are peaceful. Students walk the trails. Ducks float lazily. But at night, everything changes. Visitors report hearing splashes from the center of the lake even when the surface is still. They hear crying. They see pale figures standing on the far side of the lake, drifting slowly into the trees. Some claim to see a woman in white walking along the shoreline. When they approach her, she disappears into the water without making a sound. Campus police have responded to dozens of calls from students who say they saw someone fall into the lake, only to find no one there. The stories always feel similar. A shadow standing near the edge, a sudden movement, a splash. But when officers arrive, the water is calm and silent. No signs of a struggle, no footprints on the bank, no explanation. The legends say the lakes hold the memories of several tragedies from the early days of the school. Whether the ghosts belong to students, visitors, or something far older is a question no one can answer. Even the famous Golden Dome carries a ghostly reputation. Some nights, long after the campus has gone quiet, people claim to see a glow in the windows at the top, as if someone is walking inside with a lantern. But no one is allowed up there. Others report hearing faint singing coming from the dome, music so beautiful and heartbreaking that it leaves them frozen in place. When they look up, the dome is dark. The sound stops instantly. Students who walk past late at night describe the strange feeling that they are being watched from above. Perhaps the most disturbing encounters happen in the quiet hallways of the academic buildings. There are reports of phantom footsteps following students up the stairs. Sudden cold spots that appear only for a moment, then vanish. Lights that turn off one by one, as if someone is walking behind the students and touching each switch. Some claim to have seen shadows moving across classroom walls, even though the rooms were empty. Others feel a sudden pressure in their chest when passing through certain hallways, as if the air is too heavy to breathe. Notre Dame is a campus full of history, beauty, and deep cultural meaning. But its ghosts, whether tragic, protective, or simply curious, are woven into its identity. For some students, these experiences become unforgettable memories. For others, they become nightmares that linger long after graduation. The university is a place where the living and the dead seem to walk side by side, separated by only the thinnest of barriers. And at night, when the buildings fall silent and only the moonlight glows across the quads, the spirits of Notre Dame step out from the shadows to remind everyone that the past never really leaves. Number 4. Ohio University, Athens, Ohio. Ohio University, nestled in the rolling hills of southeastern Ohio, carries with it a history that is as rich as it is haunting. Founded in 1804, the campus has witnessed centuries of academic pursuit, youthful exuberance, and dark, unsettling mysteries. Over the years, students and staff have reported a variety of paranormal encounters, making it one of the most chilling haunted schools in America. The most infamous stories revolve around some of the older buildings on campus, particularly Wilson Hall. Students and faculty have described hearing footsteps echoing through empty corridors late at night, long after the campus has gone quiet. Doors that were securely locked in the evening have been found mysteriously open the following morning, with no sign of forced entry. Some even report hearing whispers calling their names from the darkness, only to find no one around when they investigate. Perhaps the most terrifying tales are those involving apparitions. Several students have claimed to see shadowy figures moving just beyond the corner of their eyes, only for the shapes to vanish when confronted directly. These encounters are often accompanied by sudden drops in temperature, the feeling of being watched, or an unshakable sense of dread that seems to follow the observer. One recurring figure described by multiple eyewitnesses is a woman in a long dark dress appearing silently in hallways before disappearing without a trace. The history of Ohio University adds a layer of eerie context to these paranormal accounts. Over its 2 centuries of operation, the campus has experienced fires, accidents, and tragic deaths. It is widely believed that the spirits of those who suffered remain tethered to the buildings, unwilling or unable to move on. In addition to Wilson Hall, other locations, such as Baker University Center and the older dormitories, have been reported as hotspots for ghostly activity. Students brave enough to investigate at night have reported unsettling phenomena. Cold spots seem to move around them, unexplained banging or thumping echoes through empty rooms, and lights flicker inexplicably. Some have even felt hands brush against them in deserted hallways, prompting screams and frantic escapes. Paranormal investigators who have visited the campus confirm that the energy in certain areas is extremely strong, often capturing EVPs, electronic voice phenomena of moans, whispers, and chilling phrases. One of the most infamous urban legends associated with Ohio University is the tale of a student who supposedly vanished within the confines of one of the older academic buildings, never to be seen again. The story, often told to freshmen during orientation as a cautionary tale, has been perpetuated for decades. Witnesses claim that on quiet nights, it is still possible to hear the missing student's footsteps pacing the hallways or faintly calling for help, adding to the chilling atmosphere that has become synonymous with the campus. Faculty and campus security have also reported strange occurrences. Security cameras have caught inexplicable movements, such as doors opening and closing by themselves, shadows moving across empty corridors, and lights flickering on and off without electrical cause. Maintenance staff frequently speak of tools being moved or misplaced mysteriously, and some have refused to work in certain buildings alone after dark. The haunting at Ohio University is not limited to buildings. The surrounding grounds are often described as unnervingly quiet at night, with some students reporting the sensation of being followed while walking alone. The rustle of leaves or distant footsteps often seems out of place, creating an oppressive, eerie environment. The wooded areas near the campus have their own set of ghost stories, with reports of apparitions wandering among the trees, strange lights floating above the ground, and cold drafts that chill to the bone. Despite the fear, Ohio University's haunted reputation has become a part of campus culture. Ghost tours are organized during Halloween, drawing both students and paranormal enthusiasts from around the country. These tours highlight the most haunted buildings, recounting tales of past tragedies, ghost sightings, and unexplained events. Participants often report feeling uneasy or experiencing minor paranormal phenomena during the tours, which only reinforces the university's eerie legacy. For skeptics, the haunting stories might seem like exaggerations or campus folklore. However, the sheer number of consistent reports from students, staff, and visitors over decades makes it difficult to dismiss entirely. Ohio University has become a landmark in the paranormal community, recognized for its strong and persistent ghostly activity. Whether you are a student, faculty member, or visitor, stepping onto Ohio University's grounds after dark is an experience that leaves a lasting impression. The combination of historical tragedies, unexplained phenomena, and shadowy apparitions ensures that the haunting stories of this campus continue to terrify and intrigue all who encounter them. Some say the spirits are restless, drawn to the energy of students and the history of the campus. Others believe that the university sits on a nexus of paranormal activity, making it a hotspot for ghostly encounters. In any case, Ohio University stands as a chilling testament to the enduring presence of the supernatural. It reminds everyone that even in a place dedicated to learning and enlightenment, the past can linger in the shadows, whispering through hallways and chilling the hearts of those who dare to walk its grounds at night. For those brave enough, the haunting is a thrilling, terrifying experience, an encounter with the unknown that few will ever forget. Number 5. The University of Montevallo, Alabama. The University of Montevallo, located in the heart of Alabama, is widely regarded as one of the most haunted campuses in the southern United States. Established in 1896, the university has a long and storied history that includes tragic events, mysterious disappearances, and ghostly legends that have persisted for over a century. Students, faculty, and visitors have all reported encounters that defy explanation, from shadowy figures to sudden, unexplainable chills. One of the most haunted locations on campus is the David Brock Hall, an old dormitory where numerous apparitions have been sighted. Students frequently speak of hearing whispers in empty hallways, doors opening and closing on their own, and footsteps following them late at night. Many claim to have seen fleeting images of ghostly figures in windows or around corners, often vanishing the moment they attempt to get a closer look. Some have even reported feeling invisible hands brushing against them as they walk through the hallways. Another hotspot for paranormal activity is the campus library, where numerous accounts tell of books flying off shelves without cause, lights flickering on and off, and the unmistakable sensation of being watched. Some students have shared stories of spectral figures gliding silently between the stacks, vanishing just as they approach, leaving behind a cold chill in the air. The library has a particularly eerie reputation during late-night study sessions, when the silence of the building is broken only by unexplained noises and the occasional distant cry. The university's historic Gothic-style architecture adds to its ominous atmosphere. Many of the older buildings were constructed over a century ago and have witnessed generations of students passing through their halls. With this long history comes tragic events, including untimely deaths, accidents, and other incidents that many believe have left restless spirits behind. One particularly well-known legend involves a young woman who allegedly took her own life in one of the dormitories, her spirit said to roam the halls at night, crying or silently observing the living. Groundskeepers and maintenance staff have also reported strange occurrences. Tools, furniture, and other objects have been inexplicably moved, and some claim to have encountered shadowy figures that vanish when approached. The university's sprawling campus is dotted with wooded areas and secluded pathways where people have experienced sudden drops in temperature, eerie whispers, and even glimpses of figures moving silently among the trees. Many students avoid walking these paths alone after dark, fearing an encounter with the unknown. Paranormal investigators who have visited the University of Montevallo confirm that the energy on campus is strong and persistent. Electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, have been captured, recording faint whispers, moans, and other unexplainable sounds. Some investigators have reported their equipment malfunctioning inexplicably, further reinforcing the belief that the campus is home to active spirits. Despite the fear and unease that surrounds these tales, the haunting of the University of Montevallo has become a defining part of campus culture. Ghost tours are sometimes organized, especially around Halloween, highlighting the most haunted buildings and recounting the numerous reports of paranormal activity. Participants often leave with chilling stories of their own, adding to the ongoing legend of the university. Whether skeptic or believer, anyone who visits the University of Montevallo late at night will likely feel a sense of unease. The combination of dark history, unsettling architecture, and countless eyewitness accounts ensures that the university's reputation as a haunted location is well-deserved. It is a place where the past lingers in the shadows, a campus alive with both the memories of the living and the whispers of the dead. Number 6. The University of Texas at Austin, Texas. The University of Texas at Austin, one of the largest and most prestigious universities in the United States, is also infamous for its paranormal activity. With a history dating back to 1883, the campus has seen decades of student life, academic pursuits, and unfortunately, tragic events that many believe have left restless spirits wandering its grounds. From historic buildings to quiet courtyards, the campus is filled with locations where ghost sightings and unexplained phenomena have been reported. One of the most haunted spots is the iconic main building, particularly the tower. Standing tall as a symbol of the university, the tower has been the site of numerous tragic events, the most notable being the 1966 sniper incident that left 17 people dead. Many claim that the tower is now home to spirits of the victims, with reports of shadowy figures and cold, oppressive chills lingering near the upper floors. Some students and staff have felt an unexplained presence while walking the hallways or entering empty offices, as though they are being silently observed by invisible eyes. Dormitories across the campus are also hotspots for paranormal activity. Residents of older halls have reported hearing unexplained knocks on doors, doors opening and closing by themselves, and the sound of footsteps echoing in empty hallways late at night. Some students have claimed to see fleeting apparitions in mirrors or at the end of darkened corridors, leaving them startled and unsure of what is real. The legends often tell of former students or faculty who died tragically and never truly left the campus, their energies lingering in the buildings they once inhabited. The Brackenridge Field Laboratory and nearby wooded areas add another layer of eerie encounters. Visitors and students exploring these areas have reported sudden temperature drops, the feeling of unseen hands brushing against them, and the sensation of being followed by invisible entities. Some even claim to hear whispers carried on the wind, as if the trees themselves hold the memories of past lives and lingering spirits. The campus library, especially in the older sections, is said to be haunted by a spectral librarian. Students have reported hearing the rustle of pages and soft footsteps in areas that should be deserted, sometimes followed by books mysteriously falling from shelves. Others claim to have caught glimpses of a shadowy figure moving silently between the stacks, disappearing when approached. Late-night study sessions can turn unnerving as the silence of the library is broken by unexplainable sounds and chilling sensations. Paranormal investigators who have visited the University of Texas at Austin confirm that the campus harbors strong residual energy. Electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, have been captured, revealing faint whispers, cries, and even what sounds like footsteps or doors opening on their own. Cameras and recording equipment have reportedly malfunctioned inexplicably, suggesting that unseen forces are actively present in certain locations on campus. The ghostly legends extend to the university's theater and performance halls as well. Actors and crew members have reported lights turning on and off by themselves, strange cold spots, and the feeling of being watched during rehearsals. Some performers claim that props and set pieces move inexplicably, as if guided by invisible hands, while others have heard disembodied voices delivering lines or calling their names when no one else is present. The haunting reputation of the University of Texas at Austin has become a part of campus lore. Ghost tours and paranormal investigations occasionally take place, giving visitors a first-hand look at the university's more mysterious locations. Participants often recount chilling experiences of sudden cold spots, unexplainable noises, and fleeting apparitions, further solidifying the campus's reputation as a haven for restless spirits. Whether walking alone late at night or exploring the oldest buildings during the day, the University of Texas at Austin is a place where the past never truly rests. Shadowy figures, whispers in the darkness, and unexplained movements ensure that the university remains a hotspot for paranormal activity. Students, staff, and visitors alike are reminded that some parts of the campus are best approached with caution, for the spirits that linger are both persistent and unpredictable. Number 7. The University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, Illinois. The University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, a sprawling campus steeped in history and academic prestige, hides a darker side that few dare to speak of. Beneath the bustling classrooms, the libraries filled with studious whispers, and the neatly manicured quads, legends of restless spirits and unexplained horrors persist, whispered among students and occasionally reported by faculty. Some say that certain corners of the campus are cursed, haunted by those who met tragic ends or were bound to the campus through dark events long forgotten by the mainstream history of the university. The most infamous location is the Illini Union Building, a historic structure filled with the echoes of the past. Late at night, when the halls are deserted and the fluorescent lights flicker unpredictably, many have felt the oppressive presence of invisible entities. Students who stay late for study sessions have reported hearing footsteps pacing behind them, only to turn and find empty hallways. Doors slam shut with a force that seems unnatural, and chairs scrape across the floors on their own, as though invisible figures are moving through the building. Whispers echo through empty corridors, sounding like disembodied voices calling names, warning of unseen dangers, or repeating cryptic phrases in tones that chill the blood. Dormitories, particularly the older residence halls, are infamous for paranormal activity. Students speak of shadows that move independently of any light source, appearing in the corners of rooms and vanishing the moment they are fully seen. Cold spots materialize suddenly in the middle of hallways, freezing the air around students and leaving them with a deep sense of dread. Some report waking in the dead of night to find their doors slowly creaking open despite being locked, or hearing soft knocks on their bedroom doors with no visitor in sight. Apparitions are occasionally reported, fleeting figures of past residents dressed in antiquated clothing, wandering silently as if trapped in time. The campus libraries, particularly the main stacks, are notorious for their ghostly occurrences. Students searching for books late at night sometimes hear whispers between the stacks, the sound of pages rustling, and even footsteps echoing in otherwise empty rooms. Some have described seeing a shadowy figure moving through the stacks, only to disappear when approached, leaving behind an inexplicable chill in the air. Others claim to hear soft, mournful cries, or even the sound of someone typing on old, non-existent typewriters in the dead of night. It is said that the spirits of former students, professors, and staff linger here, bound to the knowledge and memories of their lives, unable to move on. The Illinois Theater, another storied location on campus, also carries a reputation for supernatural activity. Crew members and performers have reported props moving on their own, spotlights flickering without cause, and unexplained footsteps echoing through empty wings. Some have seen fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures sitting in the audience, watching rehearsals with hollow, lifeless eyes. Others report feeling a presence behind them during performances, accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature and a suffocating sense of being watched. The ghost stories extend even to the outdoor spaces of the campus. Certain pathways, especially those bordered by older trees and dimly lit lampposts, are notorious for eerie feelings of being followed. Students walking alone late at night have described sudden, inexplicable chills, whispers carried on the wind, and the sensation of a presence brushing past them, even when no one else is around. Some even report seeing shadowy figures moving between the trees or disappearing into the fog that occasionally blankets the campus, leaving a lingering sense of unease. The engineering buildings, with their labyrinthine hallways and mechanical rooms, are no exception. Maintenance workers have reported strange noises echoing through empty corridors, clanging, metallic scraping, and muffled voices that seem to come from nowhere. Some have claimed to see tools moving across workbenches as if manipulated by invisible hands. Others report equipment malfunctioning without explanation, or lights flickering in a rhythmic, unnatural pattern, all pointing to an unseen presence that refuses to remain hidden. Paranormal enthusiasts and investigators who have explored the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign report capturing electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, with faint whispers, warnings, and eerie cries on recording devices. Cameras sometimes malfunction mysteriously, and shadows appear in photographs where no one was standing. These unexplained occurrences only add to the campus's eerie reputation, suggesting that the spirits here are not just residual energies, but perhaps conscious entities, lingering and watching, unwilling or unable to leave. Even student legends contribute to the chilling atmosphere. Stories abound of spectral professors continuing lectures in empty classrooms, apparitions sitting silently in libraries, and phantom footsteps echoing in old dorm halls. Some of the more sinister tales speak of students who disappeared under mysterious circumstances, their spirits reportedly haunting the very buildings where they once lived and studied. Each story adds to the campus's dark reputation, creating an invisible web of fear that hangs over the university after dusk. The University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Illinois is a place where the past refuses to stay buried. From shadowy hallways to cold, empty classrooms, from the whispers of the libraries to the haunted dormitories, the campus holds secrets that refuse to be forgotten. Those who walk its grounds alone at night may feel the weight of history pressing upon them, the presence of restless spirits lingering in every corner. Whether through fleeting apparitions, inexplicable noises, or the suffocating feeling of being watched, the university reminds all who enter that some places are not just haunted, they are alive with the memories of the past. Number 8. The Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida. Florida State University, one of the oldest and most prestigious institutions in the southeastern United States, is also notorious for the darker, unseen forces that are said to linger across its historic campus. Beneath the lively energy of students rushing between classes, the laughter echoing from dormitories, and the vibrancy of college life, there exists a chilling side to this university, a shadow world of paranormal encounters and unexplained occurrences that have been whispered about for decades. The most infamous hauntings at Florida State University are centered around the historic Westcott Building. Constructed in the early 20th century, the Westcott Building stands as an architectural gem, its towering facade and grand interiors hiding a multitude of ghost stories. Students and faculty have long reported feeling sudden drops in temperature as they walk the long hallways, the unmistakable sensation of being watched, and fleeting shadows that vanish as soon as they are fully perceived. Late at night, when the campus falls silent, echoes of footsteps, the sound of doors creaking open and closed, and soft murmurs that seem to come from empty rooms are frequently reported. Dormitories on campus, especially those built decades ago, carry an eerie reputation. Students living in these halls have recounted experiences that are impossible to explain rationally. Some have reported objects moving on their own, bed sheets being tugged while they sleep, or the sensation of unseen hands brushing against them in the darkness. Others describe hearing whispers calling their names, shadowy figures darting across the walls, and sudden, unexplained noises in otherwise silent rooms. The fear of encountering something supernatural keeps many students awake at night, and some even refuse to walk certain hallways alone after dark. The university's library, a place of quiet concentration and study, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Scholars staying late to study often feel inexplicable chills and hear soft footsteps on the upper floors. Some have reported seeing fleeting figures moving between the stacks, only to disappear when approached, leaving behind a heavy, oppressive feeling. Others claim to have heard voices repeating strange phrases or crying softly, though no one else was present. The echoes of past students, faculty, and perhaps even tragic accidents seem to haunt the space, lending a spectral atmosphere to the otherwise scholarly environment. Certain outdoor areas on the campus are said to harbor restless spirits as well. Pathways lined with ancient trees, particularly near the older academic buildings, are notorious for their unsettling ambience. Students walking alone after sunset often report sudden, inexplicable chills, the sensation of being followed, and whispers that float through the air, carried on the night wind. Shadowy forms have been glimpsed among the trees, or disappearing into the fog that sometimes blankets the grounds. These experiences are consistent enough to have become part of campus lore, with students warning newcomers about these haunted spots. Even lecture halls and classrooms, places meant for learning and discussion, have their share of ghost stories. Professors and students alike recount seeing chairs move as though someone unseen has been sitting in them, or feeling an icy presence lingering after a room has been vacated. Some claim that certain classrooms are haunted by former faculty or students who met untimely deaths, and their spirits continue to roam the very halls where they once taught or learned. Doors open and close without cause, lights flicker mysteriously, and faint murmurs can be heard echoing through the corridors, creating an atmosphere of constant unease. The Florida State University also boasts a haunted theater, where performances and rehearsals sometimes take a sinister turn. Actors and crew report props moving without explanation, sudden gusts of cold air, and the sensation of being watched from the shadows. Some have glimpsed ghostly figures sitting in the audience or walking along the stage wings, vanishing before anyone can confront them. These manifestations are often accompanied by strange sounds, footsteps, whispers, and even the distant echo of applause, though no one else is present to create them. On the more historic side, older buildings on campus carry stories of tragic deaths, unexplained accidents, and lingering unrest. Former students who have passed away under mysterious circumstances are said to haunt these structures, leaving their mark on the university's paranormal landscape. Maintenance staff and campus security officers often report equipment malfunctioning without cause, lights flickering in rhythmic patterns, and doors opening or slamming shut with no apparent reason. Such occurrences suggest that the campus is not merely haunted by residual energy, but potentially by conscious spirits intent on making their presence known. Even legends surrounding specific areas contribute to the chilling aura of Florida State University. Some stories speak of spectral students continuing their studies long after death, ghostly professors delivering lectures in empty classrooms, and apparitions wandering the campus grounds silently at night. The consistency of these accounts across generations of students suggests that these are not mere tales, but ongoing phenomena that have become an intrinsic part of the university's identity. The Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida, is a place where history, tragedy, and the supernatural intersect. From the haunted hallways of the Westcott building to the chilling dormitories, from the whispering libraries to the eerie outdoor pathways, the university is a hub of paranormal activity that defies explanation. Those who traverse its grounds after dark may feel an oppressive presence, catch glimpses of shadowy figures, or hear whispers that chill the spine. The campus serves as a reminder that even places dedicated to learning and progress can harbor deep, dark secrets that linger long after their tragic origins. For those brave enough to explore, Florida State University offers a haunting experience that is both terrifying and unforgettable. Every hallway, classroom, and courtyard holds a story. Every shadow could be more than just a trick of the light, and every whisper may be a voice from the past trying to make itself known. Number 9. St. Mary's College, Moraga, California. St. Mary's College, nestled in the serene hills of Moraga, California, may appear from the outside as a picturesque and tranquil campus, full of students bustling between classes, manicured lawns, and historic buildings steeped in academic tradition. However, beneath this calm and scholarly atmosphere lies a darker, more sinister side of the college, a place where countless ghost stories, strange occurrences, and unexplained phenomena have taken root over decades. Those who tread the campus after dark speak of shadows that move against the natural flow of light, voices echoing in empty corridors, and an unsettling sense that something unseen is watching their every step. The oldest buildings on campus, many constructed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, are the epicenters of these haunting reports. Students and faculty alike have recounted chilling experiences inside the dormitories, where footsteps are heard pacing across hallways at times when no one is present. Doors creak open and slam, shut without cause. Lights flicker as though responding to unseen presences, and icy drafts sweep through rooms despite sealed windows and functioning heating systems. Many claim to have felt invisible hands brushing against them in the darkness, or the sensation of being pinned to their bed by an unseen weight, leaving them paralyzed with terror. Among the most notorious areas of St. Mary's College is the historic administration building. Those brave enough to work late into the night in this building have reported hearing soft whispers in the hallways, murmurs that rise and fall with no discernible source. Some describe seeing fleeting shadows that vanish when approached, or glimpses of figures dressed in outdated clothing, as though echoes of former students or staff are still wandering the halls. Even the furniture seems to have a life of its own, with chairs sliding across the floor and doors opening without explanation. The oppressive energy in certain rooms is palpable, and many have said that a feeling of dread settles over them the moment they step inside. Dormitories on campus carry a particularly dark reputation. Roommates often share accounts of strange noises in the middle of the night, soft footsteps, the sound of whispering just beyond the reach of hearing, and objects inexplicably shifting from one place to another. Some students have woken to find their bedsheets pulled taut, as though someone invisible was lying beside them, or heard muffled crying in the dead of night. Shadows are often seen moving along the walls, darting from corner to corner, and in some cases, entire corridors seem to darken inexplicably, as though the very air is being drained of warmth and light. The fear of these unseen presences has caused some students to avoid their rooms at night entirely, opting instead to study in the safer, brightly lit areas of the campus. The college library, a place of quiet reflection and study, also has its own share of supernatural lore. Students working late have reported chairs moving on their own, books falling from the shelves without explanation, and the sensation of being watched from the upper stacks. Some claim to have felt an icy breath on the back of their necks, or the sensation of invisible eyes tracking their every movement. Others recount hearing distant whispers, repeating their names, or reciting fragments of phrases that vanish before they can be fully understood. Many believe that the restless spirits of former students who met untimely deaths haunt this space, forever lingering among the shelves of knowledge they once sought. Even outdoor areas of St. Mary's College are steeped in mystery. The quiet pathways between buildings, especially under the cover of darkness, have been the scene of countless ghostly encounters. Students walking alone at night report sudden chills, the sensation of being followed, and faint whispers carried on the wind that seem to emanate from no source. Shadowy figures are sometimes glimpsed moving through the trees or disappearing into the fog that occasionally blankets the campus. These spectral sightings are consistent enough to have become part of the collective lore, with upperclassmen warning newcomers to avoid certain areas after sunset. Lecture halls and classrooms are not exempt from these eerie experiences. Faculty members have described seeing objects move without explanation, lights flickering in rhythmic patterns, and the sensation of being watched while lecturing to empty rooms. Some classrooms are said to be haunted by former professors who passed away on campus, their spirits continuing to wander the halls in search of students, delivering lectures that only the living can feel, not hear. Doors open and close on their own, chairs move inexplicably, and cold drafts sweep through the rooms even in the middle of summer. These encounters have been reported consistently over decades, making it clear that the paranormal activity is far from a recent phenomenon. Certain legends surrounding the campus add a layer of terror to the existing hauntings. Stories circulate about spectral students who continue their studies after death, ghostly figures appearing at windows, and strange apparitions that seem to follow passers-by. The consistency of these reports across multiple generations of students suggests that these are not mere pranks or coincidental events, but persistent phenomena that have become a dark hallmark of St. Mary's College. The campus is dotted with historic sites that may have witnessed tragedies, accidents, or untimely deaths, and the energy from these events is believed to be woven into the very fabric of the institution. St. Mary's College, Moraga, California, stands as a chilling reminder that even places dedicated to learning, growth, and enlightenment can harbor dark secrets. From the shadow-filled dormitories to the whispering hallways of the library, from the chilling outdoor pathways to the classrooms haunted by unseen instructors, the campus is a labyrinth of paranormal activity that both fascinates and terrifies those who encounter it. The combination of history, tragedy, and lingering spirits makes St. Mary's College a uniquely haunted institution where every corner could hide something more than meets the eye. For those willing to explore the campus after dark, St. Mary's College offers a haunting experience that is both mesmerizing and terrifying. Every room, hallway, and pathway holds a story of the past. Every shadow could conceal a restless spirit, and every whisper may be a warning from the other side. This is St. Mary's College, Moraga, California, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead seems perilously thin. Number 10. The University of Maryland, College Park, Maryland. The University of Maryland College Park is widely recognized for its academic excellence, sprawling campus, and vibrant student life. However, beneath the well-manicured lawns and bustling lecture halls lies a hidden world of chilling tales and unexplained phenomena that have haunted this institution for decades. Students and staff alike have reported ghostly encounters, eerie sounds, and strange apparitions that seem to lurk just beyond the edge of perception, making some parts of the campus feel more like a haunted estate than a place of learning. One of the most notorious spots on campus is the McKeldin Library. Students who stay late to study after hours have recounted hearing whispers in the stacks, the faint rustling of pages, and even the sound of footsteps pacing along the upper levels when no one else is present. Some have described cold spots that appear suddenly as they walk through the halls, a chill that seems to come from nowhere, yet spreads across the room. The sensation of being watched is common, with many students claiming that they have turned to see a shadowy figure disappear into the corners of the library. Dormitories on campus are another hotspot for paranormal activity. Students report objects moving on their own, doors opening and closing without explanation, and cold drafts that sweep through rooms even when windows are securely shut. Many have experienced unexplained noises in the middle of the night, soft tapping on walls, the creaking of beds, and distant, unintelligible whispers. Some have even woken to find their bedsheets pulled tight or their belongings rearranged in ways they did not leave them, suggesting the presence of an unseen force lingering in their living spaces. The historic campus buildings, some dating back over a century, also harbor ghostly tales. Faculty and staff have reported seeing figures dressed in outdated clothing, wandering the hallways as if trapped in time. Lights flicker without reason, and in some cases, classroom equipment has been known to malfunction inexplicably. There are accounts of chairs sliding across floors and doors, locking on their own, leaving those inside feeling unnerved and desperate to escape. The history of the campus, filled with decades of students, faculty, and untold stories, is believed to contribute to the lingering paranormal energy that pervades these older structures. Outside, the campus grounds themselves are not free from haunting experiences. The pathways between buildings, particularly after dark, have been the scene of chilling encounters. Students report sudden drops in temperature, phantom footsteps echoing behind them, and shadows darting just beyond their line of sight. The trees and hedges lining the walkways seem to conceal more than just wildlife, with many claiming to have glimpsed fleeting figures among the branches. The combination of historic architecture and the natural landscape creates a setting ripe for spectral activity and lingering spirits. Athletic facilities and auditoriums have their own share of ghost stories. Coaches, athletes, and maintenance staff have all reported hearing, strange sounds during late-night practices, including muffled voices, footsteps, and doors creaking open on their own. Some claim to have felt an invisible presence brush past them, or to have seen fleeting shadows dart across gym floors and stage areas. The sense of being watched is prevalent in these spaces, with even the most skeptical individuals admitting to a creeping feeling of unease when alone in the buildings after hours. Even areas dedicated to administration and faculty offices have experienced unexplained occurrences. Employees have reported objects being moved without explanation, lights flickering or turning off unexpectedly, and the sensation of invisible hands brushing against them while passing through hallways. Some describe hearing disembodied voices, repeating names or snippets of conversation from decades past. The presence of so many historic figures, combined with years of campus activity, appears to have left an imprint on the space, creating a hotbed for supernatural experiences. Throughout the campus, the haunting phenomena are consistent enough to have become a part of the university's lore. Senior students often warn freshmen about certain areas, particularly older buildings and secluded walkways, advising caution after dark. There are whispered tales of former students and faculty who met untimely deaths, whose spirits continue to roam the campus, unseen but felt by those in their presence. Paranormal enthusiasts and investigators have occasionally visited, documenting strange noises, temperature fluctuations, and shadowy figures caught on camera, further fueling the chilling reputation of the university. Visitors and students alike report that the feeling of unease intensifies during quiet, off hours. The stillness of the campus at night amplifies every creak, whisper, and shadow, making the supernatural encounters more vivid and terrifying. The combination of historic architecture, dense foliage, and a rich tapestry of past lives seems to have created a perfect environment for lingering spirits and unexplained phenomena. Many who have spent time exploring the university after hours have said they felt as though they were intruding on another realm, a place where the living and the dead brush against each other with unsettling proximity. The University of Maryland, College Park, stands as a chilling reminder that even institutions dedicated to knowledge and learning can harbor dark secrets. From haunted dormitories and whispering libraries to eerie pathways and shadow-filled classrooms, every corner of the campus tells a story of lingering spirits and unexplained activity. Students, staff, and visitors alike are cautioned to remain vigilant, especially after dark, as the university continues to hold the echoes of its past in ways both fascinating and terrifying. Number 11. Huntingdon College, Montgomery, Alabama. Huntingdon College, located in Montgomery, Alabama, is renowned for its academic programs and historic charm, but beneath its picturesque campus lies a dark and unsettling side that has intrigued and terrified students for generations. The college, with buildings dating back over a century, has been the site of countless ghostly encounters, unexplained phenomena, and chilling stories that continue to circulate among students, faculty, and visitors. One of the most frequently reported areas of paranormal activity is the old administration building. Faculty members and students have recounted experiences of doors opening and closing on their own, lights flickering without electrical cause, and cold drafts that appear without warning. Several have reported seeing shadowy figures move across hallways, only to vanish when approached. The sensation of being watched is common, with many feeling a heavy presence lingering in the corners of rooms. Students working late at night in these buildings often describe an unnerving feeling that someone or something is observing them, making their academic pursuits a nerve-wracking experience. Dormitories on campus are another hotspot for supernatural activity. Residents have reported hearing mysterious footsteps echoing through empty hallways, the rustling of clothing or bedding, and soft whispers that cannot be attributed to any living person. Some students have woken to find their belongings mysteriously rearranged or beds disturbed, as if an unseen entity had entered the room. Cold spots, sudden temperature drops, and the sensation of a brush of air across the skin are frequently described, adding to the pervasive feeling of unease. In certain dorm rooms, some claim to have glimpsed fleeting apparitions, often of former students or staff, who seem trapped between this world and the next. The historic chapel on campus has also seen its share of paranormal events. Visitors have reported hearing the sound of ghostly organ music, even when no one is present. Chairs and pews have been found displaced without explanation, and some have described hearing faint singing or chanting late at night. The sense of spiritual presence is particularly strong here, and many students and staff refuse to enter the chapel alone after dark, wary of encountering the unexplained. These experiences have made the chapel one of the most haunted locations on campus. Huntingdon College's outdoor areas are not free from paranormal reports either. The walkways and green spaces between buildings are said to harbor residual energy from past tragedies or untold stories of the college's long history. Students walking alone after dark often report sudden drops in temperature, eerie rustling in the trees, and fleeting shadows crossing their path. The combination of historic structures, quiet wooded areas, and the weight of past events creates a chilling atmosphere where the ordinary becomes strange and the unseen feels tangible. Classrooms, lecture halls, and faculty offices have their own unsettling stories. Professors and staff have described objects moving inexplicably, lights turning on and off without explanation, and strange electrical disturbances that defy logical causes. Some have experienced sudden feelings of unease or anxiety while alone in offices or classrooms, as though an unseen presence is watching their every move. Students taking night classes have occasionally reported seeing ghostly figures walking down hallways or appearing at the edge of their vision, vanishing before they can be fully seen. Even the college library has its share of ghostly tales. Students working late into the night have described hearing footsteps echoing in empty aisles, books falling from shelves on their own, and whispers that seem to come from nowhere. Many report sudden cold spots or a feeling of being observed while studying, adding an extra layer of tension to already stressful academic nights. The library, often considered a sanctuary for learning, becomes a place of heightened anxiety and fear after dark. Athletic facilities and campus auditoriums are also not immune to haunting phenomena. Maintenance staff and students have reported strange sounds during late-night practices or events, including footsteps, doors creaking, and distant murmurs. Some have felt invisible brushes against their arms or the sensation of being followed while walking alone in these areas. These occurrences contribute to the chilling reputation of Huntingdon College, making it a point of fascination for paranormal enthusiasts and a source of genuine fear for those who live or work there. The stories of Huntingdon College's hauntings have persisted for decades, becoming a part of campus lore. Students pass on warnings about certain buildings and areas, particularly the older structures, advising caution after dark. Paranormal investigators occasionally visit, documenting unexplained noises, shadowy figures, and temperature fluctuations, which only reinforces the college's reputation as a site of lingering spirits and supernatural activity. Throughout the campus, the sense of unease and tension is palpable, especially during quiet evenings and late-night hours. The combination of historic buildings, secluded paths, and a long history of students, faculty, and events appears to have left a permanent mark on the energy of the college. The university's haunted reputation is a reminder that even places of learning can harbor dark and mysterious forces, lingering just beyond the veil of the seen world. Huntingdon College, Montgomery, Alabama, stands as a chilling testament to the presence of the unknown. From ghostly apparitions in dormitories and shadowy figures in hallways, to unexplained sounds in lecture halls and the library, every corner of the campus tells a story of lingering spirits and unexplainable encounters. Students, staff, and visitors are advised to remain vigilant, especially at night, as the college continues to hold echoes of the past that refuse to rest. Number 12. Montclair State University, Montclair, New Jersey. Montclair State University, located in Montclair, New Jersey, is a sprawling campus known for its academic programs and vibrant student life, but it also carries a darker, more unsettling reputation. For decades, students, faculty, and visitors have reported eerie occurrences, ghostly sightings, and chilling experiences that suggest certain areas of the campus are haunted. The campus buildings, many of which date back decades, seem to harbor lingering spirits whose presence is felt in both subtle and terrifying ways. One of the most frequently reported haunted locations is the University Hall, a historic building with a long past. Students have described hearing footsteps echoing through empty hallways, doors opening and closing on their own, and lights flickering inexplicably. Shadows are often reported at the edge of vision, vanishing when approached, leaving witnesses with an unnerving feeling that they are being watched. The sense of unease in University Hall is so palpable that some students avoid late-night study sessions there, fearing encounters with the unexplained. The dormitories on campus also have their share of paranormal activity. Residents often report objects mysteriously moving, sudden cold spots, and strange sounds that cannot be traced to any logical source. Some have experienced doors slamming shut without anyone nearby, while others have heard whispering voices in the middle of the night. Certain rooms are notorious for ghostly apparitions, with fleeting glimpses of figures standing in corners or walking down hallways, only to disappear when directly observed. These encounters have become a part of campus lore, with new students warned about which dorms and rooms to avoid after dark. Academic buildings beyond University Hall are also sites of strange phenomena. Classrooms, lecture halls, and faculty offices have been reported to host unexplained occurrences, such as lights turning on and off, chairs moving, and sudden drops in temperature. Students taking evening classes have described seeing shadowy forms pass across walls, doors, and windows, often accompanied by the sensation of being observed. Professors working late have shared stories of hearing footsteps and whispers, sometimes finding notes or books displaced with no apparent cause. The campus library, often considered a sanctuary for focused study, has become a hotspot for paranormal activity. Students report cold drafts, the sensation of being touched when no one is nearby, and eerie whispers in otherwise empty reading rooms. Books occasionally fall from shelves without explanation, and electronic devices sometimes malfunction in the presence of these strange occurrences. Late-night study sessions are frequently accompanied by an uneasy feeling that something unseen is present, making the academic environment tense and unsettling. Certain outdoor areas of Montclair State University have also been associated with ghostly sightings and supernatural activity. Walkways and courtyards are often described as carrying an eerie energy, particularly at night. Students walking alone report sudden chills, shadows moving across paths, and fleeting figures darting behind trees or building corners. Even those walking in groups sometimes experience the inexplicable sense of being followed or watched, adding to the campus's reputation for paranormal activity. Faculty members have also shared unsettling experiences. Office doors reportedly open and close by themselves, computers sometimes turn on or off without reason, and unexplained noises are common after hours. Staff working late into the evening have reported seeing figures moving through hallways and hearing whispers, giving the sense of a lingering presence that refuses to leave. These experiences have become part of the oral history of the campus, with each new generation of faculty and students learning of Montclair State's haunted reputation. Montclair State University's performing arts and theater buildings are no exception. Students involved in theater productions and late-night rehearsals have recounted objects moving, lights flickering, and strange sounds coming from empty rooms. The backstage areas of certain theaters are particularly notorious, with reports of ghostly apparitions, phantom footsteps, and sudden unexplained cold drafts. These events often occur during late-night rehearsals or when the theater is empty, adding an extra layer of fear and mystery to the artistic environment. Athletic facilities on campus also have their own haunted tales. Locker rooms, gyms, and training areas have been the sites of unexplained sounds, moving objects, and the sensation of an unseen presence. Students practicing alone at night have sometimes reported hearing disembodied voices or footsteps following them, creating a chilling atmosphere that turns routine workouts into nerve-wracking experiences. Montclair State University's haunting extends beyond physical manifestations. Many have reported an oppressive feeling or sense of dread in certain locations, as if the spirits of the past linger, unsettled or restless. These reports are not limited to one building or area. They span across the campus, suggesting that the university itself holds a history of lingering energy and unexplained activity. Paranormal investigators have occasionally visited, documenting temperature anomalies, EVP recordings, and strange visual phenomena, which adds credibility to the numerous stories shared by students and staff. Throughout the campus, the presence of the unexplained has created a unique blend of fear and fascination. Students and visitors are often simultaneously intrigued and terrified, knowing that Montclair State University is not just a place of learning, but also a site of lingering spirits and mysterious occurrences. The stories of apparitions, ghostly sounds, and inexplicable phenomena have become an integral part of the campus culture, shaping the way people experience and perceive this institution. Montclair State University, Montclair, New Jersey, stands as a chilling reminder that even institutions dedicated to education and growth can harbor dark secrets. From the historic buildings to the dormitories, library, theaters, and outdoor areas, every part of the campus has been touched by the unexplained. The combination of history, architecture, and lingering energy makes it one of the most haunted universities in America. Students, staff, and visitors are advised to exercise caution, particularly during late-night hours, as the spirits of the past remain ever-present, watching and waiting. Montclair State University, Montclair, New Jersey, a place where academic excellence intersects with chilling paranormal activity, creating an environment that is as terrifying as it is fascinating, and ensuring that the stories of hauntings will continue to captivate and frighten those who dare to explore its grounds. Number 13. Gettysburg College, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Gettysburg College, located in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, is not only renowned for its historic significance and academic programs, but also for the chilling tales of paranormal activity that have surrounded its campus for decades. The college sits in a region steeped in history, where the echoes of the past seem to linger in the very air, and many claim that these echoes manifest as supernatural occurrences that haunt the campus and its buildings. Students, faculty, and visitors alike have reported a variety of ghostly encounters, ranging from inexplicable noises to full-bodied apparitions, creating an atmosphere of suspense and unease. One of the most frequently reported haunted locations on campus is Pennsylvania Hall, a historic building that has been part of Gettysburg College for generations. Numerous accounts describe strange sounds, such as footsteps echoing down empty hallways, doors opening and closing without explanation, and furniture moving on its own. Shadows are often seen at the edge of vision, disappearing when approached, leaving witnesses with an unnerving feeling that they are being observed by unseen eyes. The reports from Pennsylvania Hall are so persistent that many students avoid certain floors or rooms during late-night study sessions, fearful of encountering something supernatural. The college dormitories have also become notorious for paranormal activity. Residents often recount cold spots, sudden drafts, and eerie sounds in the middle of the night. Some claim to have seen ghostly figures standing in corners or walking silently down hallways. Items in rooms, books, personal belongings, or furniture have reportedly moved on their own, leaving occupants unsettled and wary. The stories circulate quickly among students, and those who live in the most haunted dorms often share warnings with newcomers, creating a mix of dread and fascination surrounding campus life. Academic buildings beyond Pennsylvania Hall are also sites of strange occurrences. Lecture halls and faculty offices have been reported to host inexplicable phenomena, including flickering lights, doors that lock or unlock by themselves, and the sensation of being watched. Professors working late hours have described hearing whispers and footsteps with no identifiable source, and sometimes they find books or papers displaced inexplicably. These eerie experiences contribute to the perception that Gettysburg College is a place where history and the supernatural intersect, allowing the past to make its presence felt in unsettling ways. The college library, a place of quiet study and research, is another hotspot for ghostly encounters. Students report cold drafts, books falling from shelves, and the sensation of being touched when no one is nearby. Some have heard faint whispers or footsteps in empty reading rooms, adding an unnerving dimension to late-night studying. Electronic devices sometimes malfunction in unexplained ways, and the oppressive feeling of being observed is a recurring theme among library visitors after dark. Outdoor areas of Gettysburg College are equally steeped in ghostly lore. Walkways, courtyards, and wooded areas near campus have been associated with strange sensations and sightings. Students walking alone at night often report feeling sudden chills or seeing fleeting figures moving across their path. Even when in groups, many describe the unsettling feeling that someone or something is watching them. The campus grounds, imbued with the historical weight of the surrounding Gettysburg area, seem to amplify these experiences, making even a simple walk after sunset a tense and unnerving experience. Faculty members have shared their own accounts of paranormal activity. Office doors have been known to open and close without cause, computers and lights malfunction unexpectedly, and eerie noises are frequently reported after hours. Some staff members have seen ghostly figures moving through hallways, or heard voices whispering in empty rooms. These experiences have become part of the college's oral history, passed down from one generation of faculty and students to the next, reinforcing Gettysburg College's reputation as a haunted institution. Certain areas associated with the performing arts, including theaters and music rooms, have also been cited as haunted. Students practicing or rehearsing in these spaces often report objects moving, lights flickering, and sudden cold spots. The backstage areas in particular are known for sightings of shadowy figures and phantom footsteps. These accounts create a mix of fear and fascination as students experience the thrill of artistic creation while also being aware of the supernatural presence that seems to inhabit the campus. Athletic facilities are not exempt from paranormal activity. Locker rooms, gyms, and outdoor fields have been the sites of unexplained sounds, moving objects, and the sensation of unseen entities nearby. Students practicing alone at night sometimes hear disembodied voices or footsteps following them, creating an unsettling atmosphere that can make routine activities nerve-wracking. The combination of history, architecture, and lingering energy across all campus facilities contributes to Gettysburg College's eerie reputation. Gettysburg College is also known for more subtle forms of hauntings. Visitors and students alike report sudden feelings of dread or a heavy sense of presence in certain locations. These experiences are difficult to quantify, but leave a lasting impression, making individuals more cautious and alert as they move about campus. Paranormal investigators have visited the college over the years, documenting temperature anomalies, EVP recordings, and occasional visual phenomena, which lend some credence to the numerous first-hand accounts shared by those who live and work there. The blend of history, student activity, and lingering energy makes Gettysburg College a uniquely haunted location. Its buildings, both old and new, as well as its outdoor areas and dormitories, create a pervasive sense of the supernatural that can be experienced by anyone who walks the campus grounds. The stories of ghostly encounters, unexplained sounds, and eerie sensations are passed down from student to student, forming a rich tapestry of haunted lore that is both fascinating and frightening. Gettysburg College, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, is a place where the past never truly rests. From historic halls to dormitories, libraries, theaters, and athletic fields, every part of the campus holds the potential for a paranormal encounter. The combination of historical significance, architectural character, and unexplained phenomena ensures that Gettysburg College remains one of the most haunted educational institutions in the United States, captivating the imagination of students, faculty, and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Number 14. Stevens College, Columbia, Missouri. Stevens College, Columbia, Missouri, stands as one of the most chilling educational institutions in the United States, its historic halls and classrooms echoing with whispers from the past. Founded in 1833, the college carries a rich legacy of education for women, yet behind its academic prestige lies a darker, more sinister story that has fascinated ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. Students and faculty alike have reported a variety of paranormal phenomena across the sprawling campus. In the older sections of the college, particularly the original dormitories and academic buildings, eerie footsteps echo through empty corridors late at night, often accompanied by faint whispers or indistinct voices. These sounds, persistent yet impossible to locate, have caused even the bravest students to abandon late-night study sessions and retreat to the safety of their rooms. Some have described the voices as carrying urgent messages or muffled cries, as if the past is desperately trying to communicate with the present. The most famous ghost story revolves around the spirit of a former student who tragically passed away under mysterious circumstances in the early 20th century. Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure gliding silently along the hallways, sometimes appearing at the top of staircases before vanishing abruptly. Doors to her old dorm room have been known to open and close on their own, with lights flickering unpredictably, heightening the fear for those who dare to walk those halls alone. One particular classroom, now unused and often locked, is said to be the epicenter of paranormal activity. Students report cold spots, sudden drops in temperature, and objects moving inexplicably. There have even been instances of chalk moving across blackboards as if an invisible hand were writing messages that vanish before anyone can read them fully. This classroom has earned a notorious reputation, with students avoiding it altogether, and faculty cautiously scheduling meetings elsewhere. Ghostly sightings are not limited to indoor spaces. The campus grounds themselves carry stories of apparitions appearing along tree-lined pathways and in the shadows cast by historic buildings. Late-night walkers have reported seeing a woman in period clothing silently pacing the grounds, disappearing whenever approached. Some claim her presence is accompanied by the faint scent of old perfume, while others feel a sudden oppressive atmosphere, as though the spirit's sorrow is tangible. Even the library, a place of quiet study and reflection, has its share of supernatural legends. Patrons have heard unexplained footsteps among the stacks, books falling without cause, and whispers that seem to come from empty corners. There are accounts of students seeing figures seated at tables, reading silently, only for the chairs to be empty moments later. The unsettling feeling that someone or something is always watching has made even the most dedicated students wary of late-night research sessions. Alumni have shared stories of strange occurrences that continued long after graduation. Letters and photos sent back to the college mysteriously vanish or are found, moved to different locations. Some former students recount dreams so vivid and terrifying that they wake convinced the events occurred in reality, often tied to the places where the spirits were said to linger. Haunted tours of Stevens College, offered occasionally for curious visitors, do little to diminish the aura of fear. Guides recount historical tragedies alongside first-hand accounts of spectral encounters, painting a picture of a college where the past refuses to rest, and where every shadow and echo could carry the presence of those who once walked its halls. The combination of history, tragedy, and paranormal activity makes Stevens College an unforgettable haunting experience for anyone who dares to explore it. Number 15. Hampton-Sydney College, Hampton-Sydney, Virginia. Hampton-Sydney College, nestled in the quiet countryside of Virginia, is one of the oldest institutions of higher learning in the United States, founded in 1775. While it is renowned for its rich history and academic excellence, the college is also infamous for its chilling paranormal activity, earning a place among the most haunted schools in America. Students, faculty, and visitors alike have reported experiences that defy explanation, creating a mystique that intertwines the college's storied past with eerie encounters in the present. Walking through the campus after dusk, one can almost feel the weight of centuries of history pressing down, and it is during these hours that the hauntings seem most pronounced. The older buildings, particularly those built in the 18th and 19th centuries, are said to harbor restless spirits. Residents of the dormitories have reported footsteps in empty hallways, doors opening and closing of their own accord, and objects moving without explanation. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures standing silently in the corner of a room, only to vanish when approached. The presence of these unseen entities is often accompanied by sudden cold spots, a chilling draft, or an unsettling feeling of being watched, leaving students and staff with an unshakable sense of unease. One of the most frequently reported spirits is said to be that of a young student who tragically died on campus during the early 19th century. Witnesses describe seeing a figure in period clothing wandering through the dormitories and academic halls. Some accounts suggest that this ghost is benevolent, sometimes guiding lost students back to their rooms, while others portray a more sinister presence, with sudden apparitions appearing in hallways, causing screams of fright. Doors slam without cause, lights flicker unexpectedly, and shadows dart across walls, creating an atmosphere of suspense and fear that permeates the campus. The campus chapel, a grand structure that has stood for over 2 centuries, is another hotspot for supernatural occurrences. Students and visitors report hearing faint whispers echoing from the empty pews, the sound of footsteps on the wooden floor, and the organ playing when no one is present. Several accounts describe a figure in old-fashioned clerical attire appearing near the altar before vanishing into thin air. Some believe this spirit to be a former clergyman who once served the college, still tending to his duties beyond death. The chapel's haunting is particularly intense during the late-night hours when the campus is silent, amplifying the eerie sensations experienced by those who venture inside. Even the outdoor spaces of Hampden-Sydney College are not immune to paranormal activity. The tree-lined walkways and courtyards are said to harbor mysterious figures, with students reporting glimpses of shadowy forms that vanish when approached. Some claim to hear whispers carried on the wind, or the distant sound of laughter from unseen sources. The historic graveyards nearby, containing the remains of early students and faculty, contribute to the chilling ambiance. Some visitors have described feeling an oppressive energy near these burial sites, as though the spirits of the past are restless, unable to move on. One of the most infamous locations is an old dormitory that is now rarely used. Former residents describe objects being moved or misplaced inexplicably, doors slamming, and sudden, inexplicable noises at night. Some have reported waking to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed, only for it to vanish within moments. This dormitory is said to have been the site of several tragic deaths in the past, and many believe that the souls of those who died there continue to haunt the building, their anguish lingering in the halls. Faculty members have also recounted eerie experiences while working late, hearing footsteps echoing behind them in empty corridors, or encountering doors that appear to be locked, yet mysteriously open. The pervasive feeling of being watched is a recurring theme in these accounts. Even maintenance staff report strange occurrences, such as tools disappearing and reappearing in odd places, or lights turning on and off without any electrical explanation. These incidents have contributed to the college's reputation as a hub of paranormal activity, attracting ghost hunters and curious visitors seeking a glimpse into the supernatural. Alumni who return to campus often report similar experiences. Some describe feeling sudden chills while walking through familiar areas, hearing voices, or sensing an unseen presence. Letters and personal belongings sometimes go missing or are inexplicably moved. Dreams of the college and its spectral residents are reported, often vivid and unsettling, blurring the line between the living and the dead. The stories shared by graduates suggest that the haunting of Hampden-Sydney College is not confined to current students, but follows those who have walked its historic grounds. Occasionally, the college offers guided paranormal tours, highlighting its rich history alongside the ghostly legends. These tours recount historical tragedies, unexplained phenomena, and first-hand accounts from students and staff. The combination of history and supernatural activity makes these tours both educational and spine-chilling. Visitors leave with a heightened awareness of the lingering spirits and a profound respect for the college's darkly mysterious side. Whether exploring the dormitories, attending classes, or walking the campus grounds, the presence of the paranormal at Hampden-Sydney College is undeniable. The mix of historical significance, tragic events, and persistent ghostly activity creates an atmosphere where the past and present coexist, and where the line between the living and the dead is disturbingly thin. This enduring mystery continues to fascinate and terrify those who dare to visit, making Hampden-Sydney College a uniquely haunted institution that will leave an indelible mark on anyone who experiences it. As we come to the end of this chilling journey through some of the most haunted schools in America, it's impossible not to feel the lingering presence of the spirits that walk these halls. From Hampden-Sydney College to Penhurst State School, each location carries stories that defy explanation, legends that have been passed down through generations, and encounters that continue to terrify and fascinate. These haunted schools remind us that history never truly dies, and the echoes of the past can reach out in ways we might never fully understand. If you've felt the shiver down your spine as you read these accounts, imagine being there in person, walking the dimly lit corridors, hearing footsteps behind you, or catching a glimpse of a shadow where no one should be. The thrill, the fear, and the mystery combine to create experiences that are unforgettable and deeply unsettling. These are places where the veil between the living and the dead feels incredibly thin, and where every creak, whisper, or flicker of light could be more than just your imagination. Now, if you've enjoyed exploring these haunted schools and diving into the terrifying tales, don't let the experience end here. Make sure to like this video or article to show your appreciation for these eerie stories. Share it with friends who love the thrill of ghost stories and paranormal mysteries, so they too can experience the chills and suspense. And don't forget to subscribe or follow for more deep dives into haunted places, terrifying encounters, and true ghost stories from around the world. By liking, sharing, and subscribing, you'll be joining a community of fellow paranormal enthusiasts who crave the thrill of the unknown. We'll keep bringing you the most haunted locations, the creepiest legends, and the most spine-tingling encounters, so you'll never run out of places to explore from the safety of your home. Keep your lights on, pay attention to every creak and shadow, and remember, the spirits are always watching. So, take a deep breath, steady your nerves, and prepare yourself for the next chilling adventure, because the world is full of haunted places waiting for those brave enough to uncover their secrets, and your next encounter with the unknown could be just around the corner. Like, share, and subscribe now, and never miss a story that will send shivers down your spine and make you question the world around you. The haunted schools, the eerie whispers, the restless spirits, they are all out there, and by joining us, you ensure you'll always be in the know. Keep your curiosity alive, embrace the thrill, and remember, some of the most terrifying stories are the ones that are true. The next time you walk down a deserted hallway or feel an unexplained chill, you'll know you're not alone, and you'll understand why these haunted schools continue to captivate and frighten everyone who dares to step inside.